first we're going to start with where are we? Okay, if you ask any 15-year-old kid, they'll pull out their cell phone, they'll tell you you're at the intersection of Furnace Road and Charmaine. But on 4th of July, 1863, this road was the Emmitsburg-Waynesboro Turnpike. It was a macadamized road out of Emmitsburg, running up through Monterey Pass down into Waynesboro. It was a heavily traveled route for both travelers as well as commerce. This particular road on our right, which is called Furnace, didn't exist. It was nothing more than a country lane, a country farm lane at best. Locals will probably tell you what it was about. Yeah, sorry, I can't project. Just can't explain, but I can't project right now. This is really just a farm lane. Locals will tell you if you went up here a bit, you'd hit the some of the local farms, but it takes you into Fairfield Gap, and eventually it'll hit the Mariah Furnace Road. The Mariah Furnace Road is running behind us, or would have run behind us. It's a road no longer used. It would have also gone to Monterey Pass. As you're probably also aware, there was a 3-day battle in a town called Gettysburg down the hill in Adams County. July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, of which the Confederate general of the Army of Northern Virginia, a guy by the name of Robert E. Lee, was defeated by the general of the Army of the Potomac, a guy named George Gordon Meade. General Lee, in the afternoon of July 3rd, early evening, decides he has to get his army safely back to Virginia. Before he can do that, though, he has to get all the supply wagons out of the way. He has supply wagons for all 3 of his corps. He also has a very large supply train, which he calls a reserve train. It's roughly 22 miles long. At 3 o'clock in the morning, on the morning of July 4th, that train will leave near Fairfield. The train is stretching from Fairfield all the way to Cashtown. It'll leave Fairfield at 3 in the morning. It'll come up through Fairfield Gap, Mariah Furnace Road, over Monterey Pass, down into the Cumberland Valley on its way to Williamsport, trying to get home safely. The observers, the signal officers on Little Round Top in Gettysburg will see these wagons going out of Fairfield. They'll notify General Meade. General Meade will send 1 division of cavalry, Union cavalry, to intercept that train and harass it. They will leave Gettysburg, go down to Emmitsburg, Maryland, where they were reinforced with additional troops. They will leave Emmitsburg around 3 o'clock in the afternoon with a force of about 4,500 troopers, about a dozen artillery. Excuse me a second. And about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the skies open up and it starts raining like crazy. This road here is macadamized. This road here, these roads here are not. They will be led up this road by a local farmer by the name of Charles Berman, 26-year-old farmer. He will meet them. He will get word that the Confederates are up here. He will go down, find them, and bring them up here. Charles Berman is leading the Union soldiers up the Emmitsburg-Waynesboro Turnpike. At about dusk, he'll hit this area right here. Coming down this road is a 17-year-old girl by the name of Henrietta Zeilinger. Henrietta recognizes Charles Berman. She knows him. Why is she coming down? She lives right over there. That's where her original house was. She tells Charles, do not go up that road. There are Confederates. There is a cannon in the middle of the road. General Kilpatrick is leading the Union force. He's reckless. He will send his Union soldiers up anyway. What do you think happens? The Confederates fire upon him with the cannon. They will tumble back here to reassemble. General Kilpatrick will decide to split his forces. He talks to the locals. I want to get in front of the train. I want to get behind the train. How do I do that? They say, well, if you go to the next pass down, which is Raven Rock, you can get in front of the train. And if you go this way to Fairfield Gap, you can get behind the train. So he will send Charles Berman with the 1st Vermont Cavalry through Raven Rock to get in front of the train. Hetty will lead the 1st Michigan. Excuse me. I just did a 2-hour tour, and my throat hasn't recovered. Hetty will lead the 1st Michigan down this country lane into Fairfield Gap, the 1st Michigan Cavalry. Kilpatrick will then take the main force that he has up Emmitsburg-Waynesboro Turnpike, led by a brigadier general by the name of George Armstrong Custer and the rest of his Michigan Brigade. This battle will last for 7 hours in pouring rain and in total darkness. Eventually, the Union will break through, pushing the Confederates down the hill. When they get down there, they're going to find that the 1st Vermont was successful in cutting off the front of the train. Between the two of them, they will destroy over 9 miles of wagons, about 250 to 300 wagons, capture about 1,300 prisoners. 1st Michigan was not successful in breaking the rear of the line, but Hetty, by leading them there, caused the Union soldiers to bog down a lot of the Confederate soldiers. 5th North Carolina Cavalry, 11th Virginia Cavalry was down there. As a result of their efforts, they were not able to participate up in the main battle, therefore helping the Union break through. I want to read something for you off the plaque. The act of guiding me and my party down that dark lane, across those creeks, alone among rough and strange soldiers, is enough to convince me of the nobleness of your character. That's a letter from Lieutenant Matthews of the 1st Michigan Cavalry to Hetty. Hetty will spend the rest of her life up here. She'll live on South Mountain. She'll marry a local farmer by the name of Jacob Fitz. They will have 7 children. They will have 25 grandchildren. They have 25 great-grandchildren. Hetty will die of the ripe old age of 87 in 1932. She's actually buried right down the bottom of the hill at the Fountain View Union Cemetery. Hetty had been lost to history for quite some time, but through the efforts of a lot of historians and the efforts of people up here at the battlefield, for example, as well as the efforts of the family. To my right are some of the Zeilingers, in particular Ray Zeilinger. Through those efforts, we were able to not just tell her story a little bit better, but actually to get a picture of Hetty. That's the first picture ever surfaced of her about 2 years ago. So as a result of that, we're here today to give our appreciation, to mark for historical purposes the efforts made by Hetty on that Independence Night in 1863. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's it. Thanks. QED.